Hello and welcome to another Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nilsson, the card lady, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. My clock is telling me that it's 5 o'clock. I had to actually move it because it was behind just a couple of minutes. I'm very excited. I just got back from on stage. I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, met up with my upline, my downlines. I had two that attended. Many friends. Got to make some new friends, got some great information, saw the catalog. What a great weekend. So I'm inspired. But unfortunately, you cannot order from the new catalog until May. We'll be getting, probably at the beginning of April, we'll know what is on the last chance list for the annual catalog. I do have an idea of some things, but there are other things that I'm thinking could go to the online store, and we have no idea about that. So stay tuned. One thing I do know that is going to go, make sure that you have this year's or last year's in colors if you love them. One of my cards uses boho blue. Boho blue is my favorite blue, and unfortunately it's going away. Make sure you've got a refill for every ink pad you have, every color. Make sure you have a full pack of paper, and if you love the color, don't let it go. Today's Facebook Live is all about mixed florals. I decided that my card class this week was going to be a spring card class. Now, I don't know for sure that the cards that I'm making here today are also going to be in my card class on Thursday night and Monday morning. I have a feeling that they could be, but I'm not positive. I'm still developing it. But for the online class to go, we are using Mixed Florals. Mixed Florals is two large flower images. One is a coneflower, or the echinacea. The other one is tulips. I thought it was perfect for this week because spring is coming. Did you know it? I was actually able to walk outside here in Massachusetts without a jacket yesterday, and it was very exciting. Today it's raining. And in fact, I went to get the mail. I came back inside, all set to bring the dogs out. My hair is a little bit flat because it started downpouring. It wasn't even sprinkling when I went out, so I had no idea. But anyway, crocuses are coming up, daffodils are coming up. It's coming, spring is coming. Aren't you excited? Okay, I made 3 cards for this online class to go. And if you purchase $35 in my store, stampingwithjeannie.stampinup.net. It's stamping with a G and JEANNIE. You place a $35 order in my store, and I'm going to send you this card kit. One of the cards actually uses an extra stamp set, and I'm sorry about that. It uses elements of text, but honestly, I can't stamp for you, so I apologize. You might have to just do without a background, or maybe you can paint a background if you don't have the elements of text stamp set. But anyway, I'm going to show you the cards. We have 3 different cards. So what I showed you is we have a tulip design and we have a coneflower design. So it's really strange. I had a little hands up or thumbs up in the corner of my thing. Don't tell me this thing is going to start acting up on me. Anyway, I'm going to flip up to flip down so you can see what I'm working on. And we're going to start designing and coloring our cards. Okay, so let's go up. There's my beautiful ceiling. I'm going to flip down just like that. And let's get closer. I've got my glass mat. Hopefully you can see exactly where I'm stamping. I am going to want to use one of these Stampin' Pierce pads today. And the reason for that is because most of these designs are large, but they're also photopolymer. The Stampin' Pierce mat has a tiny bit of give, but not too much, so that you end up with a halo around your stamps, your stamped images. Okay, let's start with card number 1. One of my favorites, and I have to tell you, when I colored this, I really colored it almost like a watercolor effect. I didn't want to do it perfect. Actually, I have to say that when I first did it, I did color it perfectly. And then I said, you know, I want it to look watercolored. I want it to look natural. I want it to look like it does in nature. flowers aren't perfect. So anyway, let's start making this card. This die, and by the way, in order to do this card class, you need to have the stamps because, like I said, I can't stamp for you, and you're going to want the dies as well. If there's a die that I use that is not part of the bundle, you will definitely get it, but otherwise you will want to have the dies. Okay, so this is the Spotlight on Nature dies. I love these round dies, and believe it or not, it wasn't as difficult to die cut as you would think. All the pieces stayed in my die. I used my take your pick die brush and brush them all out just like that and cut my next one. Okay, so let's start making this card. My card here, and I didn't do any insides. Naked insides, not good. This is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch card, and it is scored at 5 1/2, right in half. So I've already done that. I've actually done all the die cutting ahead of time. Oh, I just realized something I don't have, but I don't need it yet. I left my Stamparatus, which I left all ready to go with my coneflower image on the other side of the room. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. I'm starting with a garden green card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And I have already embossed my Flirty Flamingo cardstock layer. This is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. I used one of the new 3D embossing folders. Maybe you can remember what it is more than I can. It was actually one of the extra large embossing folders that I used. So you could, if you wanted to, if you put your cardstock in this way, you actually could stamp a whole 10-inch sheet and then cut it in half and save yourself some time when you're embossing. But anyway, it's also great if you have a scrapbook page and you want to use some elements on the side. I don't scrapbook, but I was challenged by my upline, my team leader, Marilyn, to design a scrapbook page. So I may try it even with the stamp set. Okay, so I've already embossed this and I am going to attach this to my card front. Let's hope that my inks, or rather my glues, are going to work. So thank you all for joining me. Please give me a thumbs up or love my video so more people can find me. So 4 by 5 1/4 inch Flirty Flamingo layer is going to go on here. I just realized something else I don't have, and boy, is this going to be a problem. I don't have my glasses. Where did I leave a pair of glasses? Hang on one second. Let me get my glasses and I'll be right back. Okay, and in the process, I'm going to pick up my Stamparatus so I don't have to get up twice. Okay, I'm back. Thank you for waiting and not giving up on me. Sorry, I've got great vision for distance, but my reading all of a sudden has gone downhill in a hurry. Okay, here we have another layer. This is again garden green. This is 2 1/4 inches wide and it's 5 1/4 inches high. So it is as tall as our Flirty Flamingo layer, 2 1/4 inches, because I am going to layer on here a 2-inch piece of designer paper, 2 inches by 5 1/4. So let's do that real quick. The back is really cool. Isn't that so cool, the black and white? A lot of this is from the Mixed Media designer paper. That's a new, I believe it could be online exclusive actually. And I have totally enjoyed that paper. The couple times that I've used it, I should say. Okay, so I'm going to center that on my cardstock strip and then I'm going to center it on this layer. So let me do that right now. And then we are going to stamp our tulips. Now, when I told you that the tulips were a really large layer, I was not a really large image. I wasn't kidding. It's super large. And in fact, bigger than my stamp. So here we have, or my block, I should say. I'm having trouble with word finding. All of a sudden, I can't remember exactly the perfect word, or I'm thinking ahead, jumping ahead, and that's not very easy. Okay, we're going to use Memento for all three of our cards. And what I'm going to do is take my Spotlight on Nature die cut, and this die cut is about 3 1/4 inches wide. It's actually the second largest die that has this leaf cutout, or whatever cutout you want to call the leafy border. I call it leafy. It may not be leaves, but anyway. Because this is such a large stamp, I like to take my ink to my stamp rather than going the other way. That way I know I'm going to have full coverage when I stamp. So because this is a felt pad, I can actually twist it and kind of get in the grooves a little bit. I'm going to tap it like that, just like that, and then let's stamp this. I'm going to go just like this. And if you have trouble like I do sometimes, I really like to stand up when I am stamping something this large, just to make sure I have full coverage. And ta-da, there we go. Let me put that off to the side. And now we're going to color it, and that's the easiest part. So if you're just joining me, I am making cards, 3 cards with the Mixed Florals stamp set, because we are welcoming spring this week. I'm pretty sure spring is probably going to be, well, it's either going to be Friday or Saturday, I believe. So we'll see. But anyway. Okay. Now, what I didn't do was do anything fancy with my coloring. I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo blends, just like the cardstock layer. And I'm going to use Granny Apple Green for my leaves. Now, I have to tell you, the reason I'm using Granny Apple Green is, first of all, I see that in here. Oh, I forgot. I have some die cuts here, too. I cut out 2 die cuts, and maybe Garden Green would have fit better, or would have shown up better. It kind of gets lost a little bit in the designer paper, but I just had a 2-inch strip of Granny Apple Green cardstock, and I put a textured floral, I believe it was textured floral. Boy, I can't remember. I think it was the textured floral die. I found out later, when I looked behind my original set of dies, that there's actually a large die that's part of this stamp set or bundle. So you could also do that. Because I use these, I will be including these in the card class to go. So I cut 2 of these. I just had a 2-inch piece of paper. You're not going to see the tops of this, so it doesn't matter. I am going to glue this to my bottom before I get going. So let me do that. I think when I cut out for the class, or for you guys, I actually might use the adhesive paper, just so you don't have to get your hands all inky or full of glue like I tend to do all the time. So I'm going to do it like that. And I actually have decided I may even, yeah, let's move it back. I have to move it. I want it to show up a little bit on the edges so that you can see that it's there, but I also need to be covering up the top. Let's do the same thing with this piece. I'm just adding little dots of glue to all of my leaves, just like that. You don't need a lot of glue when you're adhering stuff. Add a lot of glue and you end up with a lot of mess. Ask me how I know. So we're going to go like that, just like that. I like it that it's off the edge a little bit more. It might actually show up. Okay, let me put that out of the way and let's color this stamp set. Now there's 2 things that I did to this. First of all, I colored it with the blends. The other thing that you can see here is that I used my blending brush and some Pool Party ink, because I kind of see Pool Party in the background here. And it was a little bit harsh with just the white background. So I added some Pool Party to this, but I'm going to do that after I color. It doesn't matter if I do it before or after. So let's color, first of all, our flower. So what I did was I just kind of went like this, nothing fancy. I'm not worrying about staying in the lines. There we go, just like that. That was my dark Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to just do a little bit at the top with my light. And like I said, I'm not really worried about staying in the lines because I like the idea of the watercolor. When I originally colored this, you can see that I stayed in the lines. I'm going to do what I say, not what I did here. So what I am doing with this one is just kind of following these lines of the leaves, my tulip leaves here. I believe they're tulips. Just going to follow them with the dark blends. And you're going to want to make sure that you have scrap paper underneath here when you color, because first of all, when you color, this can bleed through. And second of all, because of the holes in my die cut, it can really end up being a mess. So you can see that I'm just doing a quick job of coloring. I'm going to get the stems of my tulips as well. Let me do this side. Almost done. You could actually make these cards probably in 20 minutes if you wanted to. And if you want to stay in the lines and do a much more careful job, by all means, do. That's up to you. This is your card. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is add some Pool Party, and I'm using the dark, and once again, I'm not staying in the lines because this to me looks kind of watercolored. It looks rather, I don't know what to say. It doesn't look like I have to stay in the lines, if that makes sense. Oh, and the only other thing, nope, I'm going to do this after. I love my Wink Stella. Okay, let's add a little bit of color with the blending brush and the Pool Party, okay? I'm going to start off the paper. You start on the paper and you're going to have a big blotch of blue, but I am going to make sure that I get all the edges. So I'm going all the way around to get that decorative edge kind of blued up. But then, see, I'm not worrying about if I'm going over my green leaves or my purple flower. Pink flower. Just going like that. Just like that. There we go. And let me put that out of the way because we're done with that. We are going to do that with my other card as well that does the tulip. So stay tuned for that. Let's just add a little bit of Wink Stella to our flowers. Once again, I'm just dabbing. I'm not worrying about staying in the lines. I'm just being very carefree and fun. I'm going to put this on my card front, just like this, just like that, and I'm going to bump it up. So let's get our dimensionals. Dimensionals make everything look better. Don't you love the coloring on the back? If you were to stay in the lines, you could almost turn it over. If you had a design or something, the blends bleeding through can also be something that you use. It's something I haven't done for a while, but you certainly can. Okay, so let's put another couple of Stampin' Dimensionals here, just like that. And then we're going to bump this up over top of our stems at the bottom. So it almost looks like our flowers are growing out of the stems. Just like that. Perfect. The last thing I need to do, and let me see if I put my glue dots back in here. Of course I didn't. I must have left them on the table here. I'm going to add some bee trinkets. And if your order is over $50, you are going to get a package of the bee trinkets as well, included in your card kit. So don't forget, you're going to get 2 each of these cards if your order is over. Where's my take your pick tool? Here it is. I'm going to see if I can. What I'm going to do, I'm getting lost in my thoughts here. I'm going to take my glue dot. I'm going to kind of put it right there in a nice little ball, and I'm going to do that here too. I'm going to kind of roll it up because these bees are not very big, and I can use my take your pick tool just like this to pick up my bee and then set it down where I want it. So you have to make sure that your bees are right side up when you're doing that though. There is a right and a wrong side to these trinkets. Okay, so that's all there is to this card, except for maybe stamping on the inside. You can write a nice sentiment. You can do whatever you want. But this is card number 1, just like that. I want to add a little bit more blue. Just like that. Okay, card number 1. Don't you love it? Nice and bright. Mixed media designer paper, Flirty Flamingo, and Garden Green. These are the colors. And I use some Pool Party for both for the blending brush and for my flowers. Okay, that's number 1. Let's do number 2. And this is my favorite card. Oops, I just lost all of my pieces on the floor. Well, we'll figure it out. Yep, I totally lost my thing that I have to use with the Stamparatus. So let me see if I can, oh, here it is. Got it. So this is my card. Don't you love it? I love it. Hi, Michelle. You must be having so much fun, hopefully. I can't see everybody. You just happen to be the last comment, but you must be having so much fun at your retreat. It was so nice to connect with Michelle this weekend at Onstage. This is the best part of Onstage. I'm meeting friends from all over the country that I get to see maybe once, maybe twice a year. It's just absolutely, absolutely the best. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I stamp this. Remember I said at the beginning, you're going to need the Elements of Text stamp set in addition to the Mixed Florals bundle. Unfortunately, I love this, but you could also do like a paint job if you wanted to, or you could use some background stamps, whatever you wanted to. This just happens to be the perfect background stamp, just like that. It's lovely. It gives a lot of, I don't know, it just makes it look more interesting. I just love it. Okay, so we're going to stamp our layer with that first. And because I don't want it to be so stark, so dark, I'm not going to use my Memento. I am going to use Basic Gray. I love the Basic Gray with the boho blue here. Now don't forget boho blue is going, so get it while you can. The blends are beautiful, the paper's beautiful, the ink, everything about it. I just love boho blue, and it's one of our colors that are going out this year. I'm going to, this is one that I always said that I usually bring my stamp set to this. I don't mind if I miss some spots on here because that gives it more interest. Oh, you know what I need to do? Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. I always love your work too. You're such a great designer, and I can't wait to hear about her event. She has just a great theme. She made it fun for her people that are attending her event. She kind of made it like a scavenger hunt. You know, they have to guess the theme and they make the cards related to the theme. Okay, that's not perfectly straight. And I just realized not only is it not perfectly straight, it's also upside down. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to flip it just like that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is take my Stamparatus. If you have a Stamparatus, this is a perfect thing to do. If you don't, you're going to have to just stamp and then bring it to your die cutting machine and cut it out. But here, what I'm going to do is just put this piece right here. It's going to fit like a puzzle piece right in there. And I'm going to ink this up with my Memento. So this is a coneflower or echinacea. For some reason, it does not like to grow in my garden. My mom has great success with this. I have lots of things that grow in my garden, but coneflowers and bee balm, for some reason, I can't get them to come back. And they're perennials. I don't get it. Honestly, don't get it. But I don't know if it's a Massachusetts thing. I see other people with coneflowers, so I have a feeling maybe it's my soil, or maybe there's a particular pest that is in this area. See what I'm doing? I fit this right in like a puzzle piece, and I have this already lined up and ready to go. And look at that. I love it. And this is going to make it so easy for my people that come to my card class to do the same thing. Okay, now we're going to color this again. And this is going to be easy to color. Let me bring back my pad here with my scrap paper. I always like to color with something underneath. What I'm going to do on this is just kind of do the dark at the top, because that's kind of where the flower is. The inside of the flower is where it tends to be more concentrated color. And I'm going to do the same thing on this little one. Now, I don't claim to be a great colorer by any means, but let me get this out of the way so I don't mix them up. Now I'm going, that was the dark boho blue. Now I'm going to use the light, and I'm just going to kind of blend. And like I said before, I'm not worrying about staying in the lines. It's a watercolor type of look. And I'm doing the same thing with this little one. You see how little time it's taking me to color? Because I'm not worrying about that. Now I don't want it to be too, you kind of blend the edges a little bit so that there's not a definite dark blend and light blend line. I have here dark daffodil delight, and I'm going to use that for my flowers. Good thing I have a really lousy blend, because I don't have to worry about, look at this. That's not what your blends are supposed to look like, by the way. Not at all. But because I'm doing a watercolor look, I don't care. Okay, now, and the last thing I'm going to do is use my light old olive blend just to kind of fill in the lines. I'm going to fill in just like that. Don't worry about if it's not perfect. Remember, this is fun. I don't usually, this is a new me, by the way. Anybody that knows me, I don't color outside of lines. Everything is inside of the lines for me. I did just realize that I forgot a yellow though. Let me get this little yellow flower. Okay, and and you could just do a swipe with this. On this one, I actually kind of, to give it some textured look, I just kind of stippled. And what you do, if you're stippling, you're just going to kind of, oh, I was going to use the other end of my brush, but use the fine end if you want to. I ended up using the darker end, but you're just kind of dabbing it. You're not kind of coloring in the line. This happens to be, this was the first go around of all of our natural tone markers. And this is, one says it's SU 100. It's the darkest natural tones blend that we have. So now if you did the natural tones very dark or something like that, you'd get the same marker. Just use the darkest brown you can for the inside of your coneflower. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do now is bring that back. I have to do one more thing with this card, but first let me pop up my flower image. And this is another, you guys are, it's a new me, it's a new day, let me tell you. I said to somebody on stage, we had a chance to rip our two-tone cardstock, fold it, and I said, distressing distresses me. Well, wait till you see what I am going to do now. This is so not me, let me tell you. Okay, what I want to do is put this over here, just like that. I've popped it up. Okay, before I wrap this with a linen thread, let me show you what I'm going to do. I am going to take my scissor, and I want to go towards me, and I'm going to kind of fray my edge. If you go against yourself, you'd have to use this one. I suppose I could do that, but I'm going towards me. Just make sure you don't cut yourself. I'm just kind of roughing up the edge. This looks like my blades have been through the wringer, and I've used them for all of my card swaps. This is what my blade looks like when it's cutting, but I'm doing this on purpose. I'm kind of trying to fray this, just like that. And you know, the other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of bend up my edges a little bit, just like that. Can you believe it? Yes. This is what I did. Okay, let's add this now. I'm going to take my Smoky Slate card base, 5.5 by 8.5 inches, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. So you can have a card base that's 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5.5, and it's going to be the same dimensions as 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. You're going to end up with a card front that is 4 1/4 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. So however you want to score it, that is totally up to you. Okay, let's attach my boho blue layer, my favorite blue. It's kind of my trademark for my business right now, my paper crafting genies. I love this blue and I use it whenever I can. I don't think I wanted to do that yet. So what I'm going to have to do is tie my linen thread around this layer now. What I'm doing is taking a length and putting it kind of off to the side. Who knows how much? Just about half the card length. I'm going to go like that, and I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to bring it back, and let me cut another length. I'm just kind of doubling it up. You can triple it up if you want to, whatever you want to do. And what you're going to do is tie yourself a little bow. Let me move this up so that it's tight enough. If you want to be sure, I should tell you something. If you want to have a nice tight bow, and I actually kind of do, I'm going to use my reverse tweezers, and this is part of my embossing additions kit. I'm going to use that to hold my piece in place so that it's nice and tight, hopefully. And there we go. Just like that. And you know what I end up doing so that my bow, if I like it, doesn't come loose? I add just a little bit of glue, just a dot, and it'll dry. Well, it'll dry tacky, so hopefully that's not going to be a problem, but that's going to be a good way to keep your bow intact so it doesn't untie if you like what you have. Okay, let's attach this to my layer here, just like this. And remember, I roughed it up on purpose. I can't even, I'll do it like that. You know, I'm trying to, just like that. I'm trying to make it a little bit distressed. If I wanted to, I could even take a sponge dauber and a little bit of gray ink just to make it look a little bit older. You know, just antique-y. I love that word, antique-y. This one, I could add some bees to this one, or I could add some gems, whatever you want to do. I wish there's probably a perfect blue gem here. You know, this, just for the fun of it, I have these antique pearls. I love these antique pearls. I'm going to try coloring them with my blend here. I'm just going to color a medium size one. I guess I need the dark blend if I wanted to color. Let's go with that, and we're going to do a little one, just like that. It'll dry pretty quickly because of the alcohol in there. I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool. I should probably have 3 of these because things look best in 3s. Where would I put the last one? Down in this corner, I'm going to put one more large pearl, not extra large, just the medium size. Let's do that. So this is the best way to get a color that you want if you don't have the gems that you think you need. So there you go. Isn't that perfect? So that's the antique pearls that I just colored, and it just added a little bit extra to that, just like that. If you wanted to, you could add Wink Estella also, whatever you want to do. But so this is my second card. Yay! Let's go on to card number 3. And I kind of like this one too. This one is different. I decided to make this look more old school, antique-y again, I guess I want to say. I am using a Cajun Craze card base that's 5.5 by 8.5 inches. On this one, I said Happy Spring. I don't like it. So first of all, it's from a different stamp set. The Happy Spring is from the Storybook Friends stamp set, and this label is from the Mixed Labels stamp set, and the dies are from the Mixed Labels dies. I don't like it. So we're not going to use it on this next card. So I can include the banner, but you'll need to have your own stamp, and you will need to have your own stamp to actually stamp the banner wings or tails or whatever you want to say. So I'm not going to do that this time. We're going to do it without. And let's just, oh, I forgot to emboss this. So this one I'm not going to emboss because I totally forgot. This one is using the Distress Tile folder, and I had already embossed it, and then I attached this layer of the Storybook designer paper. Storybook Friends is the name of the stamp set. It's the Storybook designer paper, and it's, you know, it actually has vegetables on the back. You could do the vegetables. I don't know what that has to do with tulips or the price of eggs today, but if you like the colors, you could certainly do that. I wanted to pull out the Calypso Coral. I think, you know what, guys? I think this actually is very close to one of our new in colors. To me, that almost looks like Timid Tiger. Timid Tiger is one of our new orange ink colors, and I'm going to love it. I can tell you that already. I was thinking about what my favorite of the new colors would be. There's Darling Duckling, and it's a yellow. It's kind of in between, you know, it's almost, it's got a green in it. So it's between Daffodil Delight and maybe Lemon Lime Twist. It's got a green color to it, but it's a nice yellow, especially the cardstock. Not sure about the ink. Then there's Timid Tiger, which is the orange. There's Secret Sea, which is a green black. It is so dark, it looks almost black, but it's green. It's beyond Evening Evergreen. It is dark, dark, dark. It's going to be a fun color, especially with the cardstock, though. Our fourth color is Cloud Cover, and it's a light blue. It's lighter than, probably lighter than Pool Party, and it actually has some gray in it. And they're having some issues. They didn't like when they did their quality control, they didn't like how gray it was, so they've taken it back. And it's not available for pre-order for us right now. But it's a really nice blue, and I especially love the cardstock again. And our last one is Strawberry Slush, and I don't know if you remember it as an in color. I actually have it in the old style ink pad. That's how long ago it was an in color, but it's a really fun pink. It's probably got some Flirty Flamingo inside of Melon Mambo, something like that. You know, it's got the orangey, no, it's not orange. I can't even explain it, but you're going to see it soon enough, and I hope you're going to love it as much as I do. Okay, let's get back to our card. Because I didn't emboss it, I guess we're just going to add it just like this. I'm going to take my, oh, and you know what? I decided to cut it down too. So let's cut it down. I forgot. When I initially did this, this is 2.5 inches. You know what? I'll do 2.5 inches because I didn't emboss this. This card, this layer is 2 inches, but I'm going to say 2.5 inches. When you get your cards, it's going to be 2 inches, and this layer will be embossed. Okay, let's glue this on. I love my green glue. There seems to be a very definite line. Either you like green glue or you don't. I happen to be a liker, a lover of green glue. See all the orange in here? I tried to do maybe even Calypso Coral. Calypso Coral was a little bit not the right color. Peach Pie, this is Peach Pie, that's too washed out. So that's why I ended up going with Cajun Craze. Not quite Copper Clay either. But let's stamp our tulip here and then color it. I'm talking too much. I have here, so I apologize. I'm going to respond to everybody's comments later because that's what I do. I can't do two things at the same time. They were talking about men and multitasking. Well, let me tell you, I am a non-multitasker. If I'm talking, I can't stamp. If I'm stamping, I can't talk. If I'm walking, I can't chew gum. I'm not kidding. I'm not coordinated. I can't do it. So you get the best of me that way. So I just took my ink to my stamp, just like I told you at the beginning, and I am going to just lay it down just like that. And I'm going to stand up to give it a little bit more pressure. Oh, hi, Stephanie. So I missed who number 1 is, and I'll talk to you later. I hope that you told me that you're here so that I can respond to you later. I saw Michelle, and then but make sure I know that you're here so that I can say hi, because I love seeing you guys. I'll see Stephanie in a few weeks at my next retreat, which is April 12th. I'm going to put that on the Facebook page soon so you guys can see it. In case you live around here, I live in Lynnfield, Massachusetts, which is about 20 minutes without traffic north of Boston. It's it's northeast, so it's close to, see, I'm just doing a very casual coloring. It's close to Reading, Saugus, Peabody, Lynn, all those. But anyway, I'm having a retreat very soon, and I hope that everybody can come because I've got lots of room and I'm so excited about it. Okay, so this, I used the light and the dark Calypso Coral, and then I'm going to use, well, I don't know where I put it. I had Peach Pie. Oh, here's Peach Pie, right here. I thought it was my Daffodil Delight. I'm using Peach Pie, too, for my flowers. So just, isn't this great when you don't have to worry about staying in the lines? I feel like if there aren't lines that connect on your flowers, you have permission not to stay in the lines. I also did another little die cut. This is a separate stamp that's part of this Mixed Floral stamp set. It's this one. It's like an extra accent, so I am going to color that one too. If you want to stay in the lines, once again, that's your prerogative. Because I'd already used Old Olive, for this one, I'm actually going to use Lemon Lime Twist, and it's a little bit brighter. I wish that I was really, really hoping that we'd get something like Certainly Celery or Pear Pizzazz coming back, a light green, but alas, we did not. So we're going to have to live without it for another year. Maybe next year they'll come back with it. Who knows? This one, I'm just following the lines of my tulip. Just like that. You guys must be really impressed with me, because anybody that knows me knows that this is not something that I do very well. I'm a perfectionist by nature, but I'm really trying to just have fun and not worry about it, because I feel like this stamp set is kind of freeing like that. Just like that. Oh, I might have colored really outside of the lines. Now, I just realized, but that's okay. Just coloring my stem, my leaves, just like that. And anyway, there you go. You don't have to be fancy about it. Just have fun. So what I'm going to do is pop this layer up. And because I'm popping that layer up, I'm not going to be popping up. You know what? I'm going to glue it directly, and I'm going to pop up this layer instead. I don't like to pop up 2 layers with the cards. It's already expensive enough. And somebody just told me today that the price of stamps and postage is going up again April 1st. So get your stamps. Boy, oh boy. Between the price of cardstock and the price of stamps, they're going to put us out of business. I'm still going to send cards though, because I love you guys. And I love making my cards. Okay, I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to go like that. There we go. Just like that. And I'm going to glue it right to here. And then, you know what? I'm going to, instead of putting that banner, I'm going to stamp Happy Spring just because I want to, and it is almost spring. I'm going to stamp that right at the top here. So let me do that real quick. I'm going to use my memento. This is from Storybook Friends. You can use whatever stamp up here. You could say hello or whatever you want. There's actually, I'm just going to go like that. There you go. There's actually ladybugs in this stamp set too, so you could add some ladybugs if you want to, and there's dies that cut them out, so how fun is that? That's a good way to add some extra color. Once again, I'm going to do just like I said before. I'm going to use my bashful blue. That is a blast from the past, let me tell you. My pool party ink pad and blending brush. Let me just add some blue in some of these open areas just to soften it a little bit. And you'll notice, see, I'm not worrying about if I'm coloring over my leaves or my flowers. You're going to notice, actually, this designer paper, it seems like has the same thing. It has some blues behind it, just like that. So that's why I decided to do that. So I'll put that right here in the center. Get my glue again. And like I said, I'm going to, because I popped up my flower sprig, we're just going to glue this right on. I'm actually going to bring it a little bit closer to this edge so that it's even top, bottom, and right. And maybe you can see a little bit more of the houses. The reason I chose the Distress Tile Embossing folder for this one is because, to me, these old houses, I'm thinking this is the kind of wallpaper you'd probably see, or the ceiling or something. This tile, this texture. We're going to glue that right on here. Oh, I didn't tell you guys, this layer here that I embossed and did not emboss on this particular card, this is basic beige. And all of a sudden I decided, you know, I kind of like basic beige. I think it's because I saw some really cool cards at On Stage with basic beige. Really, really fun. But anyway, I don't usually go to basic beige. I usually go to vanilla. That's my vanilla layer. This is my basic beige. It's just a nice neutral. I could have done crumb cake too, but I think that would have been a little bit too dark. Oh, see, this one I added the bee trinkets, and I could do that here, but I did my Happy Spring. So I'm not going to add anything extra here, I don't think. So these are this card. I like it without the Happy Spring banner, so I'm going to show you that. It's too peachy, I guess. So we're just going to look at that. So let's look at the cards here one more time. This is my third card. This is my second card with boho blue. Love that. I did a much better job coloring on this one, I think, but they're both beautiful. And that's the coneflower. And this is our last bright card right here. Added some Wink Estella for some extra shimmer and shine. And we've got our bee trinkets. Like I said, you place a $50 order in my store, stampingwithjeannie.stampinup.net. And you are going to get this card class. 6 cards you can make with this. And the trinkets if it's over $50. So you have to be over $35 to get the class. Okay, I'm going to, making sure that yep, just a second. I don't want you guys to see my messy mess. There we go. Okay, love that I could say hi to you guys today, stamp with you. Join me next week. I'm not working next Monday either, so join me next week and we'll have another fun class. To be determined. See you soon. Have a great week. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Oh, gotta show you. I've got my pin. I've got my leprechaun pin just like that. Isn't that guy so cute? Got my green vest on. There we go. Just wanted to say happy St. Patrick's Day. In case you thought, that's actually where this card started from because of the garden green. I was going to do all green cards and I changed my mind. Have a great St. Patrick's Day and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy spring. It's almost here. Bye, guys.